Jim, I have something very special to watch with you here next.
And I have no knowledge of what it is. You have left me completely in the dark on this.
I have, and I'm very curious how you're going to react. For many years, there's been a myth that was put out there, mainly by the person it's about his wrestling career. A man who claimed to do a number of great things, and no one ever saw any of it, and no one believed him, and he has been called a liar for many reasons, including his false claims about his professional wrestling career.
So far, you haven't narrowed this down as quite as much as people might think.
No, but I'm very happy to say that I recently discovered in my collection evidence of this man's actual wrestling career, although certainly not at the level that he claimed his career was at. And we're going to watch this now. This match, to many people, probably around the New Jersey independent scene.
Oh no. Oh wait.
Is up there with Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster. It's at that level of myth.
You're not talking about the original GM in wrestling, are you?
Well, we're about to find out. I'm going to press play. And you can see a tag team here. This is from 1984. Ricky Reed and Paul Lebish. Don't know either one of them.
Unfortunately, their career didn't last.
And here's the ring announcer who looks like an accountant.
Damian Kane, remember him?
Damian Kane and his partner from Hollywood, California.
Oh my God!
Professor
Oh my God!
Moore.
Fat Gino Moore, the Purple Bomber.
Gino Moore, for those of you who don't know, is a longtime friend / stooge of Dennis Carluzzo, who later had a big falling out with him, was very unpopular amongst the wrestlers and people around the New Jersey independent scene. And one of the things he was known for was claiming that he had been a wrestler, that he had worked many times in Japan before 58,000 people.
Oh no, that he worked programs with funk in Japan.
Yeah.
That he was Gino Moore. The closest he's ever been to Japan is if he got sushi at Kroger, right? But he used to say this to people who would know better with a straight face and never realized why that people looked at him like he had turds hanging out of his mouth. But and Dennis, I always loved when Dennis would, hey, Fat Gino. And Gino was later known as the Purple Bomber because of a marital aid that was featured in another video that had probably a little bit less circulation than this match, if you can believe that. But
less circulation figuratively and literally.
And Gino was svelte back then. He wasn't as big as he would later get to be when I knew him.
I don't know how accurate it is, but the screen said 326 pounds, and that seems a bit off.
Well, I think we'll go 375, 380 there maybe. But he's taking his robe off like he's Austin Idol. Now that's a wig, by the way. It's got to.
You beat me to the punch there, Jimmy. He was known for having a really bad wig. Eventually, he had an NWA hat on the wig. Dennis used to call him Super Calo, because if you remember the luchador who had a hat attached to his mask, that was what Gino's wig was like. I don't think he ever really understood that we all knew it was a wig, but this is the early days of his wig.
I don't know if it was super callow or super low class, but
super calories, maybe.
Super callow. There you go. Now, here's the horrible thing is Gino so far is the most active person in the ring.
I almost believe that this is like this is his fantasy come real. He's finally a wrestler here.
Well,
like I said, 1984, Pennsylvania.
Look at that stiff lockup, boy. I tell you, you could hurt somebody like that.
And Lebish gets out of it. And the professor is complaining that he's greased.
This was the early days of outlaw wrestling in New Jersey. And holy mackerel. I wonder now that the opponents, the reason why I've never heard of them is probably because they had this match.
That may be why. Other guys who worked for this promotion included DC Drake, Larry Winters, the cream of the crop of Jersey and Philadelphia independent wrestlers who you would later see working for, let's say, Joel Goodhart's TWA.
I can't take my eyes off that hairpiece. It hasn't moved. If the hairs are not out of place, it must be like Earl Scheibed.
There's a sign back there that says Fat Boy. I don't know if you saw that. A little sign someone made.
That was the Gino Moore fan club. They broke up shortly after the guy died.
with, Labish.
I'm trying to think of what famous TV actor Gino looks like with that bad wig on. It reminds me of somebody.
Laurel and Hardy.
Ed Kidd looks like a dehydrated Tim Horner, and he just tags out to a guy who looks like a dehydrated Steve Travis.
Steve Travis reference. Very good. Damian Kane, of course, would, I guess his biggest fame would have been his run as a manager in ECW. He was like the lower card manager in 95, 96, somewhere in there.
By the way, that referee looks like he just recently walked away from a state home. Look at him. He got off his job at Jimmy John's and barely made the matches.
The referee with the least amount of charisma I've ever seen. And, here's Damian Kane. Damian Kane had a long career in the independent scene around, I think, Maryland, and, of course, here we're in Pennsylvania.
Gino Moore, shortly after this, he was diagnosed with TB. Did you know that?
TB? No.
Yeah, twin bellies.
Of course, as you brought up earlier, he would later gain great infamy for the Purple Bomber video, which is him and somehow he convinced a woman to come back with him, and somehow that video escaped. And as you said, a purple marital aid was used in the making of that video.
Dennis Coralluzzo was instrumental in showing me the one that I saw, but oh my gosh, the vicious double team. I'm surprised Gino didn't tear his hamstring trying to get his foot that far off the ground.
All things considered, I'm surprised he was able to get that kickoff.
Damian Kane can't get too far away from Gino because of his gravitational pull.
Now, this is from a 1984 run, the only run that I know of Gino ever having anywhere, where he was Professor E.W. Moore. But it was later revealed by D.C. Drake and the commentators that Professor E.W. Moore was actually Gino Gambino from the New York crime family, and he had murdered people.
Well, actually, he didn't really murder him on purpose. They just fucking died of embarrassment watching his match. And there was a bump. I just saw a bump.
It's about time. It's about time.
But look, wrestling was so popular then that even this unpalatable mess was, had a pretty good house here in it. Oh my God. Well, he wasn't gonna. What the fuck?
Why did he do that?
Fuck, he came off the top rope, missed a knee drop, gets right back up and walks right back out. What the fuck was that all about?
And that person's just in the back there. You can see is not putting down that fat boy sign when they go back to the wide shot. Yep, there it is.
This thing is it's falling apart like a fucking government housing project here. Look at this arm whip. Oh, geez. Tag Gino in, he'll straighten it out.
Oh my God.
Was that the flying throttle hold?
I'm not sure what that was, but like you said, a surprisingly, a nice house for a small indie promotion. And they're loud, and here comes Gino Moore. Killed by the commentators.
Those red pants only make his ass seem even more broad.
Now, did you know Gino knows karate?
Kung Fu and 2 other Japanese words.
As the commentator says here, it's not Kung Fu, it's Kung Food.
Took his eye off the ball there. Oh, this guy's fucking thrilled to get in the ring with...
Thought that the term was Kung Fu and went after him.
So let's see what Gino has. He's done some karate. Let's see what he can do here. Oh, rake to the eyes.
Oh, my God.
A nerve hold of sorts.
Well, he's got a nerve. He's got some nerve getting that hold, I'll tell you that. And now oh, boy.
Now they're both on Lieber.
Gino out now. Damian Kane taking over.
Notice nobody has grabbed Gino by the hair.
That's a very good point. Do you? When you wear a wig in the ring, but you don't want to admit it to anyone else in life, do you go over to someone and just say, please do not do this. Do not grab me by the hair?
Everybody that I've ever known did, but sometimes it didn't work. It didn't help.
Here we go.
They forget. Oh, my God.
And that answers the question, how do you do a splash without leaving your feet?
That is definitely it.
Well, King Kong Bundy's got nothing to worry about.
The professor and Damian
Professor
Moore
E.W. Moore.
over
The first time Jim's ever seen Gino Moore wrestle.
Oh, my God. Yeah, he claimed to have, the Japanese tours and the career for years and years. And I think he did a couple of jobs on old WWF TV, and I think he was some level of success on these independent shows, and that was pretty much it. And he's looking at his clipboard where he has the insurance adjustment for a 77 Civic.
And there we go. For once and for all, confirming Gino Moore actually did wrestle. We have found the footage, and there it is.
He got in the ring. Let's not go just whole hog and say that he was wrestling there.
Okay, well, he got in the ring, which is more than anyone else had ever seen before. And this footage proves that he at least has that going for him. Of course, he never did work that program with Antonio Inoki, no matter what he says. But here is footage of Professor E.W. Moore, Gino Moore, in 1984 in the CCW promotion.
Hey, yo, Fat Gino, what are you busting my balls for?